What's up, people? We are taking a look at NBA Live 14 on PlayStation 4 after the title update. That's a pre-patch look at Kevin Durant. This is a post-patch look. We're kind of doing a before and after. The patch was designed to partially upgrade the faces, I shouldn't say that, partially upgrade the overall visual quality of the game. Obviously, a lot of people are going to focus on faces, but if you listen to my interview that I did with Sean O'Brien, the executive producer of the game, you know, as he mentioned, there wasn't going to be, anything actually done to re-render the faces. Mostly what you're going to see was lighting effects, which pretty much affect or improve the visual quality of the game overall. So, but because I know everybody is still going to want to see how faces look, this is what we did. And I still believe that there is a slight upgrade here in the faces. It's definitely not huge, and it's actually relatively difficult to see, but I do think you see a little bit here. In my personal opinion, as I've spent the majority of Monday morning, early afternoon, kind of playing the game, what I did was, when I learned about the patch, I purposely went in and I took some footage or whatever of the game before the patch hit, or before the update hit, because I wanted to be able to compare. And I tried to use both teams, same uniforms, same stadiums, and so on and so forth, to get as good of a representation of the way that was going to look as possible. So there's a slight difference, not anything huge. So as far as people who are looking forward to a huge graphical jump, you are going to have to wait for NBA Live 15 to get that, which in my personal opinion is not that bad because as far as if you're a Live fan and you're like, hey, I'm committed to this series, then I think the game is okay enough for you to play it. It's not the best basketball out there. 2K14 is the best basketball. Even with its issues, it's still the best basketball out there. So at this point, I think there's enough here with Live for you to play it, and then you really are looking forward to Live 15. It's kind of like, you know what it is? It's kind of like if you're an NBA fan or a fan of an NBA franchise, right? And you know your team has one or two players that are solid players, and you know your team's not going to make the playoffs this year. So what you're looking for is you're just looking and watching the season. You're trying to see for your team to develop and to get better. And hopefully by the end of the season, they've shown a lot of flashes or whatever to have you hyped up for next season, because you figure you're going to get like a #1 draft pick, okay? What you're looking at right here is the shoot around, which is a new mode that was added, and it's designed really to teach you the dribble moves of the game. As you start to go through this, like I'm doing here, doing all of these different moves, you realize that the actual gameplay with off the dribble and different shot moves is really quite advanced. This, to be honest, should have been in the game from the beginning. It shouldn't have had to be added by a patch. I'll just be honest with that. This is something that your franchise has been going for years, literally, and you're bringing it back, and you got a different level or different type of dribble mechanics and shot mechanics from what pretty much video game basketball fans have been playing over the last 2-3 years, and you don't give them like a tutorial to show them how to do it. That was a poor decision to me on EA's part, and I'm glad they did add this in, and hopefully they'll keep this in for Live 15 for people who still need to learn how to do the different things. You can see a little bit of a graphical upgrade just looking at this. And once you start to really play around with this, you'll really see there's a lot you can do. You can actually even go into the shoot around mode before any game. So you can use any player that you want to. Because see here, these are the signature dribbling moves. And certain guys have different moves. And you'll be able to take this in the shoot around, use different players, and, kind of test out that player with his different signature moves, which I think is really, really helpful. So it's a good thing. But back to my real life basketball analogy, when I said you're looking for like a first round draft pick or something next year, what that's going to equate to for Live is the fact that they know that they're going to use the full facial renders, similar to the way NBA 2K did this season when they got the real life faces. I mean, it's sure the NBA 2K14 gameplay is nice. It's very good. But the thing that makes that game just truly amazing and makes it like, hey, I can't put this game down. I'm not going to. Yeah, Live might have a couple things I like about it, but just the edge visually is so huge that I can't put this game down. And that is something that's very difficult for Live to compete with because it doesn't look like 2K. And so next year, if they can eliminate that advantage by upping the ante from a technology standpoint, then they'll be on a much more level playing field. But that doesn't fix everything, because there are some issues that were pre-patch and after some gameplay, I can say post-patch too, with things like animation. Now, the patch did make gameplay a little smoother, and you may be able to pick that up in some of the footage I got coming on after the shootout session. But there's still that slight bit of pause, slight bit of hesitation that is prevalent with live basketball games. And I think part of it's a philosophical approach, because Live doesn't want to have the two-man raps. They don't want to have the two-man animations where, like in 2K, when you drive into the basket and, you know, you take off from wherever you take off from and you got one set defender there. It's kind of like, you know, that sequence is almost predetermined unless somebody comes in and interacts with the ball. So those two guys kind of go into their own animation. Well, Live tries to stay away from that type of a sequence. They want everything to be individual. But the sacrifice there is what you see with the action not quite looking as smooth as it does in NBA 2K. So then Live's dilemma is they have to ask themselves, which one is worth it? You know, do we want to go and separate those guys, or do we want to make the game look smoother? Because the fact of the matter is that most fans don't really even notice that difference as much anyway. They're really caught up on the visuals and the way it looks. So from a business standpoint, which one is the smartest approach? You know, kind of got to ask yourself that question. But here is some pre-patch gameplay. The Miami Heat against the Oklahoma City Thunder. So if you're familiar with Live 14 and you've been playing it, then you know what's up here. You see Kevin Durant snuffing my LeBron James jump shot. I'll admit I haven't played a lot of Live since it came out. It came out. I played it. I played it extensively before I did my review, and played it, 2K extensively before I did the review, and I just, scored it what I scored it. And I'm the type of gamer where I'm gonna play, if it's a football game, a basketball game, a baseball game, or any sports game. If there's more than one, I'm gonna pick which one I think is the best, and I'm gonna play that. That's the one I'm gonna play, no matter if the other one has some things I like. For the most part, I'm gonna play just that one game. So with 2K winning out for me, that's the game that I've been playing. So a little bit of this gameplay is me trying to get reacclimated to some of the just some of the mechanics things with this. And you see, this is the only way for me to do this, like pre-update, was to have it use like the default roster. So if you're wondering why Russell Westbrook is on the floor, that's why. So yeah, I mean, give you a little bit more of this. And also, one thing that I think people were mentioning a lot, where they were asking, they was like, okay, all right, is anything going to be done with commentary? Is that going to be improved? Well, I would be the first to tell you, yeah, adding commentary, even for a game that has good commentary, I think adding commentary after release is a very smart approach. It makes people actually, I mean, these games invest a lot of time, a lot of labor, a lot of money in voice talent, to record these different things on the game and record the commentators. It sucks if after, a week and a half, 2 weeks of playing the game, all of a sudden now you don't want to hear it anymore. It's kind of like a waste. So to me, to keep that whole thing fresh I would say you should add commentary as the game goes, after the game is released. In my opinion, the easiest way to do that is I would get rid of, personally, I would get rid of the big name announcers. I really would. I would just get, maybe you get college students or guys who are, have studied somewhat in the commentary aspect, guys who know the game, and get those guys to do the commentary. And the reason why I say that is you're more apt to be able to bring that guy in for less money throughout the entire season to re-record lines and add new commentary. I mean, trying to catch up with Jeff Van Gundy and Mike Breen and Jalen Rose and those guys who have all of these main gigs to add content and keep it fresh is probably not it's not very realistic, and not to mention how much money it would add for that. To be honest, I really don't think that gamers are gonna be like, I'm not buying this game because there are no big name announcers. I really don't think that. I can't imagine that being a major deterrent for any gamer. So that's just my opinion on that, though. But we're closing down some of this gameplay on the current pre-patch, I should say, and now let's look at the post-patch. If the biggest thing that I recognize is that the gameplay is a bit smoother, just a bit smoother. It's not drastically smoother, but it is smoother, and you notice it most when the game is in transition. When guys are going up and down the floor, the passing's a little bit quicker. When you switch off and try to block a shot, it's a little bit more responsive. As I just got the block there with LeBron. So it's those types of things. Now, I hope no one was kind of out looking for this game to completely, like, just be a new game. It's not going to be a new game. The game is made. This is more of a tweak and an improvement on what was already there, but it's not going to be a brand new game. So if you hated live before, 9 times out of 10 you're still not going to like it. But if you felt as though the game had some qualities, but you wanted to see this or this get a little bit better, I think some of the small tweaks here that have been made may be something that really satisfy you. But in terms of taking that real major stride to turning the heads of gamers who totally weren't into the game before, that couldn't happen until next year, until the visuals actually improve. This is a pre-patch gameplay of the Indiana Pacers and the Los Angeles Clippers. A little bit more of the same here. That was a beautiful block there by Willie Harris. I almost just had to put that in there just because I put that off the glass. That was pretty nasty. But it's weird. It's the funny thing of it is that visually 2K has live in pretty much every single category. It's like nothing visually, I would say, in live that looks better than 2K, except Chris Paul. It's like the only thing in live that looks better than 2K. The Chris Paul in 2K, in live, is much better than the Chris Paul in 2K. I don't know who that guy is in 2K. I've said it several times, but that's one of the only things that looks better. But when you look here, the stadiums themselves, the arenas, the floors, they were fine. They were fine. I don't think anybody had any sort of complaint about the way things look there. But it's not, the visual appeal and what grabs people is really not about the floor and the arenas. Only way people are going to really notice that is if it's putrid, and obviously it's not, so they're not going to notice that. What people notice are the players. And if you saw with the Blake Griffin that was there, he still looks a little, even post-patch, he still looks a little too much like Scott Hall. I don't know why, but Blake looks like Scott Hall in live. We don't know why, but he does. We're going to move into the post-patch version of this game right about here. So you see the rosters have changed. Lighting is a little bit different, but I think I think what I might say is that maybe the arenas aren't popping as well, but the players are popping a little bit more off of the you know, just overall. Like I said, though, this is not going to be something that's going to blow you away visually. You know, you know, if you, I guess what I'm saying is you kind of just have to be realistic about it. I'm going to be honest. Although I noticed a few of the improvements, and I appreciate what, you know, like I said to Sean, I appreciate what they've done in terms of working hard. There hasn't been enough here yet to make me say, okay, well, I'm going to play live this year instead of 2K. No, I still don't see enough there yet, but I am encouraged about the possibilities for next season. I think next year, when these two games come out, it's going to be the first time in I don't know how long where I don't already have my decision made as to which basketball game I'm going to play next year. So we'll see. I mean, I'll acknowledge 2K still has the lead, but I'm going to give Live 15 a really serious look as a possibility because I'm encouraged about what they've done thus far. So that's my take on the channel update, and so the title update and so on and so forth. So y'all subscribe, follow, peace.